This is called scouring. It's coming together and must be separated. If you want to be healthy and warm, you tuck in a t-shirt of winter wool, and you'll see you won't get cold. And you won't get a cold. The cleaned and scoured wool must be carded to get easily spinned. The carders are wooden paddles with iron tips on one side, which comb the wool, leaving it soft and vaporous. I'm going to spin the wool that these women have prepared on the spinning wheel. Then to spin it. It is cross-linked. The distaff was used a lot because it was rolled up, and we took it with us when the shepherdesses and cowgirls went to spin in the mountains. In the evenings, we gathered in the kitchens of the fire or the fireplace and start spinning. There were many women. Threading the yarn on the distaff was basic for spinning during herding work. In the homes, in the evenings, the women spun yarn directly from the basket. When the wool is clean, scoured, carded, and reeled, it is time to move on to spinning. I'm spinning the wool that has been prepared with the fuso and the distaff. This is squeezing. You do what you want with the wool. Not even a machine. For spinning, women take the wool from the spinning wheel or basket and make a rotating movement on the fuso, the piece on which the yarn is collected. The thickness and quality of the yarn depends on the skill of the spinner. We did the fusada, one fusada each. Now we are breaking, separating the yarn from the wool, and that's it. Now let's put the two fusions together. The yarns that have been spun separately must be joined in a single ball so that they balance each other in length. In the resulting ball, the two spindles have been joined without intertwining, and it is necessary to join them together. The twisted yarn is now of sufficient consistency to make wool garments. Now we're going to make a pair of arbacaras. Come on, Maria Jose, 3 ways. We have to take the fuso and a track, and I'll take this. You'll see. You give me the thread. That's it. You have to pull firm. Be careful not to let the tip slip off, or it will untwist. Check it out, this has been very well done. The only thing, you have to twist it a little. The arbacara, a twisted thread that is used to tie the espadrilles, is the simplest garment that the women of San Juan make with wool. The sheared wool is dirty and matted. It will need several washes, starting with soaking it in a cauldron of hot water. Here. I already draw the water from the cauldron to the bathtub to put the wool in. The first washing should be done with hot water so that the fleeces release the lanolin and dirt. Very little, 5 minutes, as long as it is well soaked. Afterwards, it is drained for this, which is the basket, and it will be opened and rinsed. The hands, when we finish washing the wool, soft hands, just as if you had put cream on them. Now put the paddle in again, so that nothing touches the basket. So that it drains, and then it is removed. This is the black one, and this is the white one. You'll see it's not very clean now, but when it reaches the river, Now let it stay a quarter of an hour. Meanwhile, better go get some bread with garlic and a bit of bacon. We'll have a drink, so we don't get the cold in our hands. The river water is freezing. The path to the river was a common route for these Pyrenean women. The Cinqueta River flows lively as it passes through San Juan de Plan. Its cold waters coming from the high mountains accentuate the physical effort involved in the washing of the wool and clothes. Kneeling on the boulders, the women tip the baskets into the river to soak the wool and hit the stones with their paddles. We never wash wool like clothes. The wool is then scoured and paddled. See? Not like this. This is not clothing. As the wool is being washed, the women spread their laundry out in the sun to gain time for drying. Whether wool and clothing dry more or less quickly has a direct impact on the weight of the load when returning home. As the river is somewhat far away from the village and the road is uphill, the wash is laid on a wall of stones near the riverbed. In 4 hours, the wool will be dry in this nice place I have put it. That's why it's spread out here on the wall, because the sun hits it head on, and so it moves forward. 4 hours ahead to do other work and let the sun and mountain air dry completely the washings in the river. The calorific powers of this mineral enables the use to face the winter cold. The wool is used to fill small blankets that provide warmth to the feet, the quilts. First we made a face like this from top to bottom. Now the next layer goes across. This makes everything. Now the fabric is lifted, one side each, so that it is equal. It is then starched and sewn. Tuck the tip in from time to time until the fabric is held on one side by the other. The quilt is one of the countless pieces that the tailors of the area used to make in the past. Due to the great demand, they dedicated themselves professionally to this trade. From the whole process of the wool, from the work we have done, I'm going to start the piso. 2 stitches right side up and 2 upside down. It is also possible to make 1 right side up and 1 upside down, but usually we are making 2 right side up and 2 upside down. When working fast, the needles make music. It is like an accompaniment to the work. See? They make music. The only thing missing was a song and the noise of the needles. This was already a distraction. Measuring them, they come out the same. I already closed the stock. I have measured it with the other one, and I say that they are already both the same. Now each pass brings out the point. See? It is thus taken out, one point above the other. I've finished. You can see that with 1 stitch, a chain stitch comes out. Now the thread is broken, and Santas Pascuas. I now tie the 2 together. They have turned out very well. They are put in this way to hang them, because this way they do not become moth-eaten. Wool is also something that must be well cared for, otherwise it will become eaten by the moths. From tending the sheep to making wool garments and clothing, there is a journey through life in San Juan de Plan. Crafts and customs that were once commonplace in the Pyrenean valleys are being relegated in the memory of its inhabitants and try to transmit them to future generations as a sign of identity.